All right, let's get to some questions.
Okay. Question number 1. Is taking extreme ownership the same as apologizing for failures or apologizing for others' mistakes? I'm having difficulty separating these two concepts when I try to take ownership over failures. Does taking ownership of failure generally include an "I'm sorry, X occurred," etc., etc.?
Well, it isn't just apologizing, right? It isn't just saying, oh, I apologize, this happened. It's part of it. Part of ownership is apologizing. If you make a mistake, you got to own it. And generally, you got to say, hey, look, I'm sorry this happened. You got to own that there's been a problem or a mistake or an issue. And that does include other people's mistakes. But you have to literally take ownership of them. You can't say, hey, I'm sorry these other people made mistakes. That's not what I'm talking about. And it's, look, the mistakes that were made were actually my fault. And another important thing here is you can't just say, hey, guys, it's all my fault. You actually need to mean it, and you need to believe it yourself.
Right.
You need to believe that you failed in the situation to do the right thing or make something happen or make the right decision or make the right call or do the right preparation or whatever it is that you were supposed to do. You need to do that. You need to believe that. You can't just say it. And you say, these mistakes were my fault. Here's why it was my fault. And yeah, I'm sorry that these things happen. I apologize for this happening. And some people see sorry as a sign of weakness. And honestly, there's some legal situations you might be in or some negotiations that you might be in where that might be true. But most of the time, especially in a working environment, like inside of a team, sorry is okay. And in fact, an apology is often the first step in moving forward, right? And it's generally going to be a little bit of a blow to your ego. Now, and that's especially true because you're Mr. Extreme Ownership now or Mrs. Extreme Ownership. Guess what? That doesn't mean everyone else is. Right. Not yet. Yes. They'll get there, but they're not there yet. So you apologize to someone. It's going to be a big blow to your ego, especially when someone says, you're damn right that was your fault. That's going to hurt your ego. You're going to want to lash back out, but you can't. Got to put your ego in check. And you got to go, hey, I understand. It is my fault. You know why I'm saying it's my fault? Because I truly believe it was my fault.
Because it is.
Because it is your fault. So you got to be careful when someone gloats. Don't let that get to your head. Well, that's what you have to do. And it's not just for you that you're doing this. It's because the team. Right. Because the team has to figure out what the problem is. Someone's got to take ownership of the problem. That's you. And then that's how you get the problem solved. And I'll tell you something else. And you might have predicted this. But my sorry and my apology comes with something else. 99% of the time.
What?
And that's a good. Right? So, look, hey, I'm sorry that this happened. This is my fault, but I'm glad it happened now.
Oh, yeah, huh? Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad we made this mistake. We made this mistake right now. It's going to set us back a little bit. Good. Because now we're not going to make it with a client.
Yep.
Oh, this happened. This part of the project fell apart. Good. Now we can fix it. We know about it. Oh, this went sideways. I missed it. Good. I won't let it happen again.
Right.
So throw yourself a little good on the end of your sorry.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of times those problems or mistakes or whatever, they add to that experience, like the experience of being there, where let's say you go through a path and you make a wrong turn. Now you have that experience that's a wrong turn. That's what that looks like. That's what that feels like. And guess what? We're going to avoid that in the future rather than a bunch of situations where, for example, one in the future where it's more detrimental. Now you don't run into that.
You learned.
Exactly.
I think I saw a video that said that.
Be good. You learned.